So welcome to the ultimate buyer blueprint, okay? Just like I mentioned before, it doesn't matter where you're starting your career. If you just got your license 30 days ago, a year ago, wherever it is, this is going to help anyone that, is looking to get back out there. A lot of agents, they love listings, but they don't like dealing with buyers. But in this situation and in this market, we got to take what we can get, right? So we are going to dive in pretty deep into this. I want you guys to understand how working with a buyer sometimes can be a little bit challenging, but that's because we're not asking the right questions, okay? Now, what you're going to learn today, first, you're going to learn how to build trust during the first meeting, right? We always have clients, for some reason, have trust issues. The second thing we're going to be learning is effective strategies to uncover clients' needs. All right. And then we're also going to learn some techniques to overcome objections and close deals. So let me ask you guys a question. Anyone on here, okay, has had any like unusual requests from buyers, like anything that they would like to share? Anything like unusual that a buyer has ever requested them, like in, let's say, a buyer's consultation? Nobody wants, we have some shy people on here, huh? Nobody wants to share? Nobody, has anybody on here work with buyers? Like, it's raise your hand or like a little, wow, everybody's so quiet today. All right. Marley, I know you're on there. I know you've worked with buyers. I know there's some people I recognize the name here, but it's okay. Nobody wants to answer. That's fine. So let me tell you guys something, Liz. Did you know that 71% of buyers choose their real estate agent they meet with to represent them? So basically meeting them in person, 71% of buyers will actually work with you by meeting them in person. That's why a buyer's consultation is so important, okay? Why does it matter? Buyers are often overwhelmed or misinformed by addressing their concerns early. So you're basically gaining their confidence, gaining their trust, right? That's what you want. Remember, they're making the biggest investment of their lifetime. So you want to make sure that they have that trust in there. All right? You also need to understand what their needs are, what their goals are. All right? You can ask them questions about their preferences, budget, like how quickly do they want to move. All right? This ensures that you focus on homes that match their criteria, saving time and avoiding frustration. Why it matters. Buyers feel valued when you listen and tailor their search to their goals, right? According to NAR, 86% of home buyers consider an agent's ability to understand their needs as very important. Remember, this is not about you. This is about them. This is about their lifetime investment, where they're going to raise their family, where they're going to, have their holiday. So remember, it's about their needs. I know we always want to make that commission check and we always want to be super excited, but this is not about you. This is about them. And it's super important to have that in the back of your head, okay? Now, make sure you also educate your buyers on the current market conditions, because a lot of agents, they don't understand. We're going to kind of dive a little bit into that and a little bit about pre-approvals, why we need one right away, why we can't wait. So there's certain things that we have to tell clients like, hey, listen, I need this because, and we're going to overcome that today. Okay. And also too, a really good thing is building long-term loyalty. 95% of my business is all referral, okay? From friends and family, people who worked with me before. Either their kids are buying a house or they're downgrading because, they're empty nesters. So this is really important to you establish that loyalty from the beginning. And by you educating your client, sitting down and actually talking to them instead of just trying to push houses on them is super important, okay? And also too, it's also, setting you apart from your competitors, which is super important in this industry. I always say the real estate game is like what? It's a popularity contest. It's who can I get Who wants to work with me? I want to work with Michelle because she actually educates first and sells second. That is my motto. I educate first my clients and then I sell second. You should definitely have something that helps you understand these things. That way you can build trust and build loyalty. Another super important thing that we're going to learn too is you don't want to frustrate your client, right? Buyers always, always, always want you to be prepared. So why am I going to show you 100 houses if I haven't even sat down with you and said, you know what? Let's sit down. Let's see what your needs are, right? Because sometimes we're showing, how many, I'm sure some of you on here have shown clients houses and all of a sudden you're like, wow, you know what? I've showed you like 20, 30, 40 homes and you haven't liked any of them. Maybe you missed something there. So that's why these initial interviews are super, super important, okay? Now, the next slide. So we're going to go step by step. There's 5 steps into this blueprint. Okay, number 1, mastering first impressions. First impressions are everything, either virtually or in person, which we're going to talk about. Number 2, discovering deep dive. Okay, diving deep, getting to know your client and their needs. Number 3, setting expectations, realistic expectations. Super, super important. Okay. Number 4, number 4, market insights and storytelling. Yes, guys, just like storytelling, like what I'm saying, tell them a story, tell them your experience, or what, if this is your first time selling, it's okay. Because I'm sure that you've had hear things in the office when people always talk about what happened with their buyers. It's super important to tell them a story as well. Okay. Now, step number 5, the best and most important thing of all is the follow-up formula. Okay. Everyone with me so far? You guys could just shake your head. Thank you. Thank you. Now, let's talk about mastering your first impressions. Why do first impressions matter? It's like going on a date, right? It's like going on a date. When you meet somebody, you're like, oh boy, right? Same thing as an agent. They want to meet you, they want to get to know you, and your first impressions is what's going to do it. Okay? You have literally 7 seconds to make a positive impact. Okay? 7 seconds, guys, literally 7 seconds when you come in, you give that warm and inviting smile. See what happens when you have too many cats? You have them walking around everywhere. So you have literally 7 seconds to say, wow, I really want to work with this person. Okay? Now, buyers decide quickly if you're trustworthy and professional. It's just like going on a date with somebody. So don't make sure that you're always warming and welcome. Don't be standoffish and don't be too quick to sell. All right? This is why you're an agent and this is what's going to make you different than everybody else. Okay? Now, something super important is also tips for a strong first impression. Create them with warmth, confidence, smile. Maintain a professional body language, even virtually. Okay? You don't want to be like, sup, like when you're talking in virtual, you want to maintain a composure, just like if they were in front of you. Some clients could be like, especially if you're doing virtual like Zoom stuff, you want to make sure that you are dressed nicely. You're not in your PJs. Even though I love to wear my PJs, you want to make sure you're dressed professionally because some clients, they might live out of state. They can't come see you, but it's okay to have a virtual meeting with them. That's okay. Now, open with a strong statement. I'm here to make this process simple, stress-free, and successful for you. Doesn't that sound nice? Like, I'm here to make it stress-free because everyone knows that the home buying process is super stressful, but you are going to make it stress-free and successful for them. Okay? And that's providing that warm smile, you're engaging with them, you're talking to them, and understanding their needs. It gives you a good bedside manner, okay? And one thing about me, I'm going to tell you, I came from the medical field. Everyone always asks me, Michelle, why do you stand out more than everybody else? What makes you different? And I tell them, it's my bedside manner. And I learned that by working in a medical field because there was times that situations got a little tight and I had to have that bedside manner. You understand? The same thing. You can bring that anywhere. Have empathy for people. Talk to them. Understand their needs. Okay? Now, virtual presence. See that lady? How cute she look? All nice. Make sure the lighting, the atmosphere is nice. Make sure you're not in like, honestly, I would do it in a professional background, just like me, I'm in my office. I wouldn't really do it like at a Starbucks or like anything like that because there's a lot of noise in the background. You want to keep it quiet so they know that they have your full undivided attention. So you're not like, looking around like me. I'm over here with my cats jumping around on me. But it's more to them. It's going to be more like a more personal touch. Okay, make sure that your camera angle is good, super good with that. Dress professionally and be on time. So important. Do you know how many people come late to their own meetings, even in person and Zoom? Okay, make sure you're always on time. All right, now let's go into the next slide. This is step number two, discovering a deep dive. What does that mean, Michelle? What are you talking about? What's your goal? To understand your buyer's needs, wants, and motivation. What motivates? I think that's the number one. Why are you wanting to buy a house? Right? You got to ask these questions. Okay? What is motivating them? Hey, I'm about to have a baby or I'm getting married. Okay? There are situations in life that happens that trigger people to do things and act. And you will also see if how motivated they are is how quickly they need to buy a house. So these are super, super important things for you to understand from the beginning so your clients can definitely trust you and understand. Okay? Now, key questions to ask. Now, what is your ideal home? Your style, the size, location, features. A lot of clients will all ask them like, hey, so what kind of style home you like? Oh, I like a colonial or I want a ranch, and they wind up buying something totally different than what they expected they like in the beginning, right? But you kind of understand the needs. Like, let's say that they have an elderly mother, right? You might want a ranch house, right? Because it's a one floor, or you might want a colonial with a bedroom on the first floor. So make sure you understand these things and you ask these questions so you know that you're not just like showing all these houses and none of them are hitting their bullet points. Okay? Now, what's motivating you to move? Upsizing, downsizing? Are you relocating? Are you moving to Florida? Are you moving to New Jersey? Why are you buying a house? What is motivating you to do so? Okay? What are your must-haves and your deal breakers? Super, super important question. Okay? What do you have to have? I need to have a really big kitchen, or I need to have a big backyard. If it doesn't have a garage, I don't want it. So why then show them houses that there's no garage? Okay, a lot of people, they have to have garages because maybe they're a mechanic on part-time. Whatever it is, there's reasonings why, and there's deal breakers. There is people that said, if it doesn't have a basement, I don't want it. If it doesn't have a garage, I don't want it. If it doesn't have parking, I don't want it. So make sure you understand why they're saying that this is a deal breaker. Okay, super, super important. Now, the next slide. Okay, and what challenges have you faced? Have they been working with another agent? Have they been looking on Realtor.com or Zillow? What have they been facing? Or maybe this is their first time meeting with somebody. It's super important to understand where your client is coming from so you understand how are you going to make yourself different, right? And what you're going to do coming forward. Now, listening, super. Guys, I'm telling you right now, I love to talk. But when someone is talking to me, I stay quiet and I listen and I observe. A lot of us like to, oh, but you want that? Oh, but you want this? You have to make sure that you are actively listening to your client. That is something that is the rule of thumb. Sometimes we are so thinking about us and the way we want to hear things, we're not listening to our client. And that's why a lot of us as realtors in the beginning, we get frustrated because we're not good listeners. We need to be good listeners to be successful, okay? So take notes. One thing I love is taking notes. My desk here is full of pads. I meet a client, I write everything down, and I'm going to show you my next slide where it's going to have some like little things that I use, like questionnaires and things like that, because it helps me understand my client's needs. Okay. And repeat and key points for clarity. Okay, Miss Jones, so you're telling me that you love a 3 bedroom, 2 bath home with a garage. Is that correct? Yes, Michelle, that's what I would like. Ask these questions back because you know why? They hear you. They say, wait a minute, she's actually listening to me, right? She's not looking to make a quick sell. She's actually listening to what I want. You know, sometimes you want your husband or whatever or wife to hear you. They don't repeat nothing. Like, what'd you say? They ask you, what'd you say, right? You get all frustrated. Like, what do you mean? I just told you. So these are super, super traits as an agent for you to be a very good listener. Okay. This is going to help you throughout your career. Now, next slide here is just some things that I use when I'm working with a client. I have a buyer's questionnaire that I use, okay? And basically it's like, okay, get their information, just kind of like understand them a little bit. I usually do this after, like, hey, so what's going on? How are you? Let me know a little bit about yourself. Because I like to get these questions right away because sometimes we get into it and then you forget, right? Like you want their phone number. What's the best time to contact you? See, the beginning part is like basically if you're on the phone with somebody and you're trying to get their information or you get a lead in, these are information you probably want to get over the phone. Hey, so what's the best time to contact you? Okay. And then when you meet them, I like to get their financial information and also about their home details, right? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? How many car garage? Do you need a basement? Do you need extra storage? Okay. And then payment method, like will you be doing, how would you be purchasing this home? Are you considering a loan? Are you paying cash for it? Let them tell you. Don't say like, oh, do you have a pre-approval? That's not the way you ask people questions. Okay. You want to make sure that they understand that you have empathy, and having empathy, sometimes someone could get actually offended with you. What do you think, I can't afford this house? If someone says to you right now, do you have a pre-approval? They're going to be like, what, you don't think I have the money? So the way to say is, hey, listen, so what are you doing for financing? Are you going to get a loan? Are you going to be purchasing cash? See how nicer that sounds said, hey, you have a pre-approval? Because people look at you like, well, you don't think I can buy the house? You think I'm not qualified? These are questions that we even as an old agent, we say you have a pre-approval. Like, no, like, hey, what are you going to do for financing? Sounds much better. It sounds more warming, more engaging with them. Okay. So these are like current little things you can ask them, like, are you currently selling your home? What do you are, because if not, right, if they're selling a home, that's a whole different conversation. Okay. Have you been pre-approved? Like if they say yes, I want to finance. Okay, great. Have you sat down with a lender? And they say no, like, okay, great. I'm sure you guys have your preferred lender. Say, hey, listen, would you like to sit down with one of my lender? Make sure you give them 3. That's the rule of thumb. Would you like to sit down with my lender and say, hey, look, would you like to sit down with one of them? They can help you, start the pre-approval process. That way you know how much you're qualified for. So when we go house hunting, you're ready to rock and roll. That's how I do it. All right. Because then you sound more like you want to help them. Okay. Don't be a salesperson first. Be an educator first. All right. And a little roadmap that I like to give them. Once I start with them, I say, okay, number 1, we're going to interview. I'm going to talk to you. And then we're going to get you pre-approved. Some people already come pre-approved. So some people might go like with their lender, they talk to somebody first. So role 1 and 2 might flip a little bit. All right. So just so you know, don't say, oh, but you have your pre-approval. Some people may already come with a pre-approval. And if they say, yes, I've been a pre-approval, like, great. Do you think you can send me a copy? Okay. And if they ask you why, you say, listen, let's say I find you the most beautiful home and we go searching. And I need to put an offer. You said, Michelle, I want this house. It needs to be right now. They're going to ask me for a pre-approval. And I do my due diligence as a realtor to send my pre-approval. You should never show someone a home without a pre-approval because you're not doing your due diligence, okay, to that seller by making sure these people that are coming into their house are pre-qualified. Remember that, okay? So a lot of people do the opposite. They're like so desperate to get clients and they go show a house out of pre-approval and you're like, and then that's how you wind up losing the client. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Because you're not doing your due diligence first, all right? So these are like similar. If you guys want a copy of this, you guys can, I'll put in my email, you know, the little in the chat portion once we finish, when we start doing questions. If you guys want a copy of this, you can brand it to yourself. It's really cool. I like it. It helps me a lot. I still write things down all the time. So don't feel like you can't write things down. Okay. Now, setting expectations. I love this slide because let me tell you, this is number 3. People, for some reason, buyers have this expectation is where they think they can just buy whatever house they want for $500,000, right? Or $300,000, whatever budget it is. So they have, oh, I want this. It has to have this. It has to be updated. Setting realistic expectations, right? So here's some topics. The home buying process step by step, financing it, searching for a home, negotiating and closing. These are the steps. Financing, right? What are we doing for financing? Okay. Conventional, FHA, VA, cash. Because if you don't have that in the beginning, you will not be able to search for a home with them because you have no idea what they're qualified for. If they're VA, there's a lot of, I don't know if you guys work with VA, there's a lot of, you know, rules in VA. Okay, cash, maybe they don't want to go up so high. So you have to know how much capital they have. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. First, you have to find out their finances, and then that's when you start the search process, and then you know how to negotiate and close the deal. Okay, now the importance of pre-approval and budgets. Make sure because listen, you don't want to show somebody a house at their max budget. If their max budget is 500, you should not, in today's market, you should not be showing a property that's at $500,000. You should know that. Okay, why? Number 1, if my budget is $500,000 and I live in New Jersey and I go see a house at 500,000, it's going to have to most likely go over asking price, right? Because of the market we're living in, everybody's shooting over asking price or coming in with different conditions. You might want to go 25 to 35, maybe 40,000 under asking, okay, depending on the client's financial situation. Maybe they have money to upfront more if it doesn't appraise, whatever it is, and you want to start from there. You can throw like a 490 in there, 485, but don't go to their max budget because you'll show a client or over their budget because that will kill your deal. Because imagine you show a client, let's say a house at 525. And they're like, but why did you show me this house I can't qualify for? And they fall in love with it. But you didn't even qualify. I would be devastated. Like, oh my God, this is my house. And I know I can't qualify. If you have a client, right, you're looking at a house and let's say the property's been on the market maybe for, I would say over 30 to 60 days, then maybe you can go up more in purchase price, right? Like what's listed. Because and then that way, you know, the client's been sitting on the market for over 30 days, you might have a little bit more leeway for you to actually make an offer, okay? Because clients get desperate, like the first 2 weeks are critical. 2 to 4 weeks, the client's contemplating, should I lower the price? At the 5th week, clients are actually contemplating lowering the price if they haven't gotten an offer. So that's how the rule of thumb is when you're submitting an offer. So if it's over 30 days, remember those rules, okay? Now, timeline expectations. If they're looking to move within 30 to 60 days, so they got to be super flexible. Say, listen, I'm going to do my best to find you a home. That's why it's super important to actually sit with them and do a buyer's consultation so you understand what their needs are and if you're going to even be able to do it, right? What about it? Like in some markets, you can't even find houses for these prices that people are approved for. So make sure that you understand those. What's their timeline and why? I'm expecting a baby. I need to move in the next 3 months. So expectations or realistic ones, okay? Your role as their agent and what then it can expect from you. Now everyone needs a buyer's agreement that is listed on there. What is your duties as a buyer's agent? What do you have to do as a buyer's agent to help them so they understand what to expect from you? Not just, I'm going to help you find a house and that's it. I'll wash my hands. I am not responsible for anything else. You're on your own. So they need to understand, why are you making that commission and what are you doing to help them along the process? Everyone with me? Yes, nod your head. Okay, good. Now, step 4. Well, this one here real quick. Address common misconceptions. Okay, example, right? We can look at homes without a pre-approval. You don't want to do that, right? Getting it pre-approved puts you in the strongest position to make an offer, right? Let's get you pre-approved. So when you fall in love with that house, I'm a matchmaker, baby. I'm like Cupid over here, right? You want to be a Cupid of real estate. So that's how you present it. When you want to show somebody a house, make sure that they're pre-approved. You sit down with them, have their needs, because when it comes to sitting actually with them, they're going to confide in you and they're going to want to make the strongest offer. All right. So moving on, let's go to step 4. Market insights and storyteller. You got to be a storyteller. You got to, don't tell a lie. All right. We don't tell lies. We tell stories. I heard one time this person do research. If you don't have a story to tell here in the office, go hang out in the office for a day. I'm sure you'll hear a ton of stories. Okay. Use data to show value. People love data. They love to hear these things. Market trends, everything, stats. What's the average home price? Like I spoke to someone today and now he's like, oh my, I got pre-approved for a single family for 375 and a multifamily for 500. But I know, Michelle, I wasn't really happy with that. What do you think? I said, listen, first of all, where do you want to move into? What area of New Jersey would you like to go? Because then I know it's going to be realistic or not, right? So that's how I started off with him, because when he reached out to me, I said, listen, so what do you do for financing, whatever? And he's like, oh, I need to get pre-approval. Say, okay, I'm going to give you some of my preferred lenders. He spoke to my preferred lender, got the pre-approval, right? Now I'm going to sit with him. But when he called me today, he was a little upset. And I said, listen, I'm not going to tell you we can't find a house in that area, but I'm going to do my best to search for something around that area. Okay. And because you don't want to discourage, oh, hell no, you ain't going to get that from that price. You know what I mean? Now, what's the trends affecting buyers and rising prices, right? Competition, interest rates. The interest rate's been a little wacky, right? They went up, they went down. They're like in the 6s now. That's something too that people, oh, is it going to drop in January? We don't know. You understand? Remember, you're married to the home, but not the rate. Okay, you could always refinance at a later time when the interest rates drop. Super important that you know this knowledge once you do this. Okay. Now, why storytelling works? Buyers relate to real life examples. Okay, they love that. They love that you're a storyteller. They love hearing these things. They understand. It makes them feel like you're a human, not a robot. Stories help simplify data and make it memorable, right? And what does that do for them? It makes it like, wow, okay, she's pretty good. She knows what she's talking about. She told me her experience, what she'd help other clients. They want to know that you're human, okay? Anybody have any questions so far? No? All right. So, next slide here. Like an example story, right? I worked with a buyer last month this is a common actual story, who hesitated on an offer. 2 days later, the house had multiple offers and sold over asking price. Acting quickly in this market is key. Why? Because if they don't act right away, they might lose that home. And that's something that you don't want. Because what happens is clients need to understand, listen, this is a very hot home. It's in a very good area. It's very well priced. And what's going to happen is they're going to want to put in an offer on that house, because they're going to be like, wow, because sometimes I've had clients of mine say, you know, Michelle, I'll call you in the morning. I'll let you know. Let me talk it over with my wife. And then I call the listing agent the next morning, like, hey, Michelle, listen, I got like 10 offers on that house. Or it's already on the contract, whatever. You want to make sure there's urgency, because you're going to find out their urgency once you talk to them in that initial interview. Okay. I know you guys probably hear my dog barking because she's going crazy. You probably see this deer. All right. Now, number 5, follow up formula. There's always listen, the worst that I think that agents, I say almost everyone, all agents, we have like the worst follow up, unless you have like an admin doing it for you or whatever, use a CRM. Follow up is the most important strategy in order to get business. Okay. Follow up is the key to referrals, the key for people to want to call you back. Okay. So most agents lose buyers due to lack of consistent communication. Now, let's talk about these steps, right? I bet you some of you probably never even thought of this. Send a thank you email within 24 hours. Okay? Recap key points from the meeting. All right? Say, oh my God, it was such a pleasure meeting you and your family. I really enjoyed work. I hope we can work together. Listen, they have apps for everything. You can create your own little templates for follow-up emails. Offer next steps like, hey, so I'm going to be sending you some listings. Maybe we can schedule some showings. Let me know what houses that you like. Okay? Next one here, set up a follow-up timeline. Hey, listen, I'm going to do a weekly check-in with you to see how's it going. If you like any of the listings I sent you, are you interested in seeing any of them? What day are you available to go ahead and see the properties? Or do the weekends work for you? Super important to set timelines, right? Because that way you know how quickly they want to see a home if you're going to set up showings for them this weekend. Now, use tools like CRMs to track communication. I love CRMs. They keep everyone's data. Your client, you can do drip campaigns. I know we use Lofty in the office, and that's an amazing platform, and it's super, super easy for you to use, okay, in these real estate transactions, all right? Now, sample follow-up email. Thank you for meeting with me today. I'm excited to help you find your dream home. I'll send over a few listings shortly based on what we discussed, right? You can even text message them that, okay? Because sometimes, you know, you don't want to, I wouldn't do like right away when you leave. Like if you're meeting them in the morning, just be like, and you know, maybe text them at night, like, hey, it was really nice meeting you today. I look forward to working with you. I hope we can, you know, I find you your dream home, blah, 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 whatever it is, okay? Pro tip, personalized follow-ups with small details shared during the meeting, like pet names. Like you hear my crazy dog in the background? Maggie, oh my God, I saw Maggie today, whatever. Or your kid, oh my God, they're gonna have their birthday next week. Oh, my son's getting married. Whatever it is, make sure that you write these things down in your initial, you know, talk with them because they're gonna tell you information like, wow, she really listened to me. She knows that my son's getting married. She knows I have a dog. She knows I have a cat. The people want to know that you're listening. Okay, super important. Now, the buyer's consultation blueprint. What did we learn today? Number one, mastering first impressions. Build trust from the first second, right? Build that trust with that client. First impressions mean everything. Discovery, right? Deep dive. Uncover client's need with thoughtful questions. Okay? Number three, setting expectations. Educate buyers on the process to build confidence. Confidence is key to success. Okay? Market insights and storytelling. Use data and stories to add value. If you don't have a story to tell, go Google it. Find out what's happening in your local market area. Give them some data, okay? Follow-up formula. Stay consistent, stay personal, and helpful, all right? Now, let's discuss this a little bit here. I'm going to stop my share, and now we're going to do like a little interaction here, okay? So let's talk about this. Can anyone here, okay, I know you guys are probably shy and don't want to talk to me here, but anyone here has had a buyer's experience here? Anybody want to share what they've done? Nobody wants to talk? Not one person. Rosanna, I know you're on here. I know you like to talk. Anybody here? Has anybody had even a buyer's experience here? No one has said, no one has learned anything? We have a very, very quiet group here, guys. Maricela, come on. I know you like to talk to me here. Maricela, you bought your house with the best agent, right?
It was you. Yes. 4 years ago. Yes.
Yes. So, right, we saw homes together, we did things together, and you had an enjoyable experience that, like, even that, you wanted to be a realtor too, right? So
Yes.
these are things, guys. Listen, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, you cannot be shy in this industry. I don't know if you guys are at home, if you guys are working or whatever. When we do these classes like this, it's for you to learn, for you to engage with the person who's talking. You want to know why? Because when you're role playing, and especially as a new agent, you have to act quickly. You have to know what you're going to say because you're going to be like a deer in headlights. Okay, you're going to be like, oh my God, what am I talking about? What am I doing? I have no idea. And these are super, super important when you are meeting with the client. Okay, don't be shy. Ask these questions. Okay. So Marcel, give me like a little example. Like I know, have you worked with a couple clients, right?
I
When
did,
you
but it's been like a year ago. So I did work with some people, like friends of friends. I did that. But it's just like to give you the runaround. I did my best to try out, like, show him some houses, try to. But he kept canceling on me. It's just like they make appointments. And then the experience I had was just like they cancel on you last minute. And I was ready to go, like show them like in some homes in Berkeley Heights and stuff like that. But that's the experience I had. But so it's been quite a while for me. So
No, that's some challenges. Anybody else has faced any challenges on here? I'm gonna start picking. I know Sam is on here. Sam, I know you do well. So any challenges? I think everybody
Sam,
does. Nobody wants
I
to
got a
talk.
challenge. I got a challenge for today. Woo, man.
Woo, Sam,
I,
thank you for coming
sorry
on.
about
I
that. My
love it.
daughter's running around, so if you hear some screaming in the background, let me close this door
No,
real
you
quick.
hear
Give
my
me like 2
dog barking like 100 million times. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe she's barking. Go
well,
ahead, Sam. Tell me
we're
your
all moms
challenge.
and dads, so we're all good. It's
Oh
okay.
yeah. So tell me, Sam, what happened to you today?
well, sometimes it takes clients a while to go and get, I guess it's sort of like offer IQ because they keep underestimating what they need to do to get done, even though you give them the best information.
Mhm.
And it finally came together for my client today, and they were like, this is the one I want. Put the offer in and already talked to the agent, getting this offer accepted. I'm typing it as we speak right now, so I'm trying to get this done before they
Mm-hmm.
change their mind. But yeah, sometimes it just takes a client time to understand, even if you give them the best advice, to be able to go and follow your advice because you're a professional.
Absolutely. So don't you feel like sometimes like and I know you also do financing as well. Don't you feel like sometimes having these conversations before help, right? They have to because you get to know what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. As the clients start to see that what you've been telling them is actually coming to pass, they start to rely on you a little bit more and they can trust you.
Yep, exactly. Like I know Maricel was talking about when she met some clients at open houses and stuff. Sometimes people that go to open houses, right? And what they feel, I feel like this. They go to an open house, right? You're hosting an open house. Sometimes they're just looking, right? They're not ready yet,
Mhm.
right? So don't get discouraged with that. Just be like, okay, you know, what am I doing here? Maria has a question. She has her hand up.
I just wanted to mention, I recently had a closing for a co-op, which are very, very long and uh,
Mm-hmm.
they take a long time. So, you have to be very patient when it comes to that. But I think a lot of times with my other clients, just, your typical single family house, um, it does take a while to find. And I think we take for granted. Sometimes we feel like since it's the age of technology and people have access to all these things online, we think that our clients know so much and we kind of like sit back and kind of let them, figure some things out because they'll tell you, oh yeah, I went on Zillow and I did this and that. But then we got to put, kind of a spin on it and give them maybe the information that Zillow can give them. Just turn it around a little bit because again, we feel like, we step back because we may feel, I don't know if it's not embarrassed, but we feel, oh, my client knows everything and they don't. And I work in Hudson County and I have very, very needy clients that don't understand the basics. Like they don't know how to get a pre-approval letter. They don't know any of this. So I treat them, not that you treat them like a baby, but sometimes some need that hand holding. And if you don't hold that hand from the very beginning, you will lose them. They will not contact you. You'll just, excuse me, you lose touch and, there goes a client that you really don't know the potential that they had as far as a buyer. So that's
Exactly.
what I think.
See what you said, it makes 100% sense. Like, for example, they'll say, oh, I saw a house on Zillow and it's this and that and the
Yeah,
other. That's
I
why I'm
got that
saying,
too.
yeah,
Hmm.
that you will get that because people listen, buyers think they know everything, right? Oh no, but
Hmm.
that area doesn't call for this or doesn't call for that. And especially if you have needy clients, like Maria was just talking about, you'll have them all the time. know your area, know your market area and where they're looking. Like, oh my God, that actually house just got listed. I know exactly what house you're talking about. Do you want to go see it? You understand? So there's a lot of things like you listen, when you're working with a client, right? You should put yourself on the updates on Zillow and Realtor. You can add it where you know how it says, oh, this house here, it tells you new house just got listed. Make sure
Yes.
that you have that on your phone. Because if you have a client in those areas, you're going to get it exactly the same time there. But yeah, I just saw that house. They're having an open house this weekend. Do you want to go? So you're always ahead of the game all the time. Don't wait. People are like, I'm just going to put them on an email thread and I'm just going to wait until, they ask me questions or they want to see. Don't, you know why? Because this is why technology, like you said, we take it for granted because they do the job for us. But then that's why we're getting paid. So always be one step ahead of the game. Put yourself on drip campaigns because then you'll know when these things are coming in, when there's new houses coming on. Talk to your brokerage. Hey, anybody have any listings in Hudson County, in this area, or Monmouth County, or Middlesex County, wherever it is that you're working? Okay, you need to be on top of your game all the time because maybe they're not working with just you. You think that buyer's agreement is they can fire you at any time. I hope you guys know that. That does not give you any leg to stand on. Okay? So remember that if someone else is helping them more, they're gonna listen, I don't want to work with you anymore. And that's it, you're fired. Okay? So make sure you're always on top of your game, that you're always giving them knowledge. Hey, did you see that, the prices of the interest rates dropped a little bit this week? They're like, wow, she actually looking out for me. You understand? Look, financing. Tell your lender, listen, I want an email from you every week or wherever the interest rates drop or they're about to go up. I want you to tell me, right? My lender calls me and tells me why. Why do you think someone can answer that question? Why I would want him to do that? Nobody? Come on, guys, think about that. Why would I want my lender to let me know if the interest rates are going up and down?
Well, you want to be open and be transparent with your clients, right?
And how about this? What about if I have a client that has been contemplating, right, buying a home, and I know that the interest rates are going to go down? Like, hey, listen, Mr. Smith, guess what? They just announced that the interest rates are going to drop a half a point. This is a perfect time for you to consider buying, right? These are things like knowledge is power. You guys will understand the more knowledge you have, the more power you have. You will make yourself different than every other realtor out there. Like I told you guys before, this is a popularity contest. Wow, Michelle is on her game. She knows her stuff. She is constantly calling me, telling me information, just checking in with you. How are you? How was, how was your daughter's graduation? Did you enjoy it? Blah, blah. You have to constantly give them feedback because that's how you lose your clients if you don't speak to them because we're all in that thing. Oh, I'm just going to send them an email. I'm going to just text them and I'll wait until they reach out to me. I'll put them in a little drip campaign. You guys got to communicate. This right here, it's nice, right? Because we're home, we're hanging out at home, we don't have to be nowhere. But face to face is really good too. Okay. So make sure you do those in person, calls. You speak to them in person, you talk to them, there's consultation. Make sure that you engage with them on a weekly basis. I wouldn't say daily because I would be like, all right, let's do like super, super needy and they constantly want to talk to you. I would try to follow up with them at least twice a week, maybe the beginning of the week and maybe on the weekend, like maybe Thursday, Friday. Say, hey, listen, you want to go see some houses this weekend? You don't want to be too pushy either, but you also don't want to just leave them. Okay. Anybody else have any challenges that they'd like to talk about, or maybe they're looking to overcome something? It's something now that you guys, I can let you guys know exactly maybe what you should
How do
say.
you handle people like their contractors? That's what an issue I was having like a year ago with this person. He was just so picky and so like all over, like he thought he knew it all. So how do you handle that as a new like real estate agent? It was just like tough for me to try to that challenge because they know it all. You know what I mean?
I'm going to give you a word of advice.
Hmm.
Okay. And I'm going to give, I don't know who's new on this call and who's, I know some of my agents, whatever. if you are a new agent and you are struggling with a client, okay, what you do, all right, you might not like this, but this is my suggestion to you, is you call an agent from your office, like a seasoned agent, okay, that will work with you on the deal, because you will lose that client because of your lack of experience and knowledge. If they're super, super duper picky and they're just not liking anything and they're not wanting to buy the house and you showed them already
I
10
feel like they're
houses,
wasting your time. They kept
they're
canceling me.
wasting your
It's
time.
like,
So
it's
what
like,
you do,
no
you
way.
you make an introduction and you say, hey, listen, Mr. Smith, I love working with you, but what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to introduce you to Michelle. Michelle has over 10 plus years experience. I'm going to bring her with me so we can talk and see what we can do for you, how we can help you. I'm here to help you, and I want you to have the best buying experience possible. So he's not like, oh, you're going to leave? You're not going to do this? You're not going to do that? No, you are still helping him. You are still there. Because then that realtor that's experienced is going to know if that person is just beating around the bush, not even interested in buying, right? Because that's
Yeah.
in the beginning, it is very hard, guys, because you don't know, because we're so excited. We got our first client, we want to work, we're like super excited. And then all of a sudden they're like, I don't know. I get cold feet, or I made an appointment and I have to cancel. So if you are having these troubles, it's better making a percentage of something than a percentage of nothing. All right. I'm just telling you how as a broker,
Got it.
I understand people's pains, and not that we want to make extra money. You can call anybody from your office that has the experience, that is willing to co-broker something with you, because a lot of people, they will be willing to do it. It's actually like a training too. It helps you a lot. So anybody else have any questions or any comments they'd like to share? No?
My thing is right now, probably a little off top. It's the new business cards. I don't have pictures. I really don't have any information.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off topic. Yeah, so we'll definitely go through that after.
Yeah,
Anybody have any takeaways that they learned from this training? Anybody want to comment on that? No? All right. Well, listen, everyone, I'm going to put in here you can follow me on Instagram, okay? And I will send you guys some templates that I use, especially the one, that I just showed you guys before. Super important. Listen, I've been an agent for 10 years. I'm a broker, I'm a real estate instructor, and I still use these things. I love it. So it's something that you definitely would want to use in your career, regardless if you're new or not. I threw my Instagram there. You can follow me. Say, Michelle, can you please share with me some templates? I will be more than happy to share with you. I don't know if I have access to, to get the email from here, but I'll ask the VA to see if we can get it. Someone said in here, they learned how to make follow-up game better. I haven't had a buyer's consultation yet, but I will keep working on it. Thank you. So yes, buyer's consultation, guys, this is your key, your blueprint to buyer's consultation. Remember, your next buyer consultation could be the start of a life-changing journey for your client and a game changer for your career. So keep that in mind. My name is Michelle. You guys can contact me. I gave you guys my Instagram. And it was nice seeing everyone, even though some of you showed your face, some of you didn't. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's training.